Hi guys, welcome to Live from the Roadhouse podcast. I'm delighted to welcome my guest here, who's kindly joined me. It's none other than the actor who played Deputy Chad Broxford from season 3 of Twin Peaks. It's Mr. John Pirruccello. How are you, John?
Just lovely, Frank. Having a very strange deja vu right now. I don't know what that is, but
yeah.
But thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. A question before we get to Twin Peaks, John, is what other characters, other roles you've played, are you particularly fond of?
Well, I've never done anything except Twin Peaks. It's everything I've ever done.
Yeah. So, I'd have to check your IMDb again, yeah. See if that is correct.
Yeah. No, I love all my roles. They're like my children. I love them all equally.
Yeah. John, Deputy Chad Broxford, right? Here's the question for you. A complete bastard or simply misunderstood?
Oh, he's a bastard. I mean, but who cares if he's misunderstood? That's the thing. If you're an asshole, it's not up to people to like understand you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an asshole. You should be, treated as such. You should be. And he, do I think he has a reason for being an asshole? Yeah, I do. I think he arrived there organically, and that I mean, certainly from where I'm coming from as an actor, like I don't think I'm an asshole. Chad doesn't think he's an asshole. But yeah, he's a total bastard. He's he's self-centered and he's a narcissist. He figures the world owes him something, and he's not getting what he deserves, and he's entitled, and why me, and why does that guy have something that I don't have? I mean, he's like that kind of guy, and I don't believe in suffering fools, and I don't believe anybody ought to suffer Chad, really, and they don't, luckily.
Do you think he was just extra pissed because he wasn't allowed to eat his lunch where he wanted?
Well, I think he kind of brings all that stuff on himself, I mean, I think that's how he treats the world, and so the world kind of gives that back, or reflects that back to him. He's a creator of his own situation. I think. I don't. We could get into all sorts of like why are they allowed to eat donuts in the conference room, but Chad's not allowed to eat in the conference room. But it's obviously a rule, and it looks to me when I watch it like it's something that Chad's been told before not to eat in there, and he's just doing it anyway, and he's just like, fucking why? And his whole reason is, why shouldn't I be able to do it? You guys do it. Why shouldn't I be able to do it? That's him in a nutshell right there.
Yeah. He's a bit of a slippery customer, though, isn't he, John? Because he was doing a bit of the old drug dealing in the Roadhouse and everything,
Yeah, he's very self-serving. He's not really a principled person. He's just kind of a selfish person who feels like he's entitled to things. And why should he have to follow the rules that everybody else follows? Even, he's a hypocrite. That's like the worst kind of person, right? Is a hypocrite. I mean, he would certainly arrest somebody for dealing drugs, but yet he does it himself. So
yeah, strange priorities. Yeah, So let's go back a little bit, John, to how you were cast in the role. How did that all happen?
Well, it's wow, there's like this echo.
Yeah.
I'll try to ignore it. Let's see. What am I saying? I'm hearing myself. The call came out of nowhere, as far as I could tell. I mean, my agent called and said, go over there and talk to them over there at, production. And I said, well, what's their role? And Twin Peaks wants to see you. And I was like, oh my God, Twin Peaks, holy cow. Like, because up until that point, I was aware that it was sort of on, and then it was off, and then it was on. And I was excited about the possibility of Twin Peaks happening again, but then it was like called off. And so, there's so much going on in Hollywood or in my business. It's, I'm hoping for it, but nothing's for sure how it's happening. Right? So when I got the call, I was like, well, I guess it's back on again. Although I'll tell you, I've gotten called in for things that then, like, the project goes on hold and then comes back or never comes back. So I guess what I'm saying is I kind of take things in the moment as they are, for whatever they are that day. I don't put much more stuff in it than that. But I was very excited about the project. That's what I'm trying to say. I think I kind of don't maybe allow myself to become as excited about things as I might otherwise, or maybe as I did when I was younger or something, because it just breaks your heart, and it becomes such a huge amount of Twin Peaks, and always was from the get-go. The possibility of being on that show was so mind-blowing that I think I couldn't allow myself to get excited about it, because that I wouldn't be able to cope with, the process. So, yeah, so they called me in. No, where's the script? There's no script. Well, what's the role? We don't know. Going to talk to them, which, is kind of great. I mean, in a way, I wish they were all like that. But I went in and Joanna Ray and Krista Starr were the two casting directors, and they put a camera between them and said, "This is David Lynch, and tell us about something. Talk to us." And from there I left and was standing out in the waiting room. I was the only one there. That was the other thing. I mean, like, the casting place was at the studio, like where they filmed. I mean, like that jailhouse and all those sets were like there. So I'm just like in this little office. It's almost like a little military barracks or something, and I'm the only person there. It's quiet, so unremarkable. It's just a quiet day, maybe a couple of staff members around, and I'm standing out in this waiting room, and there's nobody there, and I'm just dazed. I just walked out, and I'm like, what just happened? And Krista Hussar comes out the door and says, "John, that was great." And I said, "Well, thank you. What is going on? Why am I here?" And she said, "Well, don't you remember a couple of years ago you auditioned for an independent film, and you were the bus driver, and you said, 'Welcome to California,' or 'Welcome to Los Angeles,' and you put your hand like this." And I had no recollection of what she was talking about. I mean, I started to kind of remember when she talked about it, but it was like so long ago, and the movie never got made. And I said, "So from that, you remembered me and called me in?" She said, "Yeah." Casting people are like magical creatures. They have some kind of crazy ability that normal human beings don't have. And so for her, it was the most normal thing in the world that she would remember me from 2 years ago and think of me for this role. To me, mind-blowing, like how the hell did that happen? But anyway,
gosh,
been talking a while, so we've done that.
Yeah. So that first day on set, John, what do you recall of that? Were you nervous? What was your sort of first impressions of stepping into that character for the first time?
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely I was nervous, and it's funny. It's sort of different than the normal thing in that, I mean, looking back, like pretty much from the time I walked through the casting agents, through Joanna and Krista's door, it was kind of like passing through a membrane or something, and I kind of like stepped into looking back, I mean, I was in the Lynch world starting then, and so heading to the set it's more, I don't know, it's surreal or something. I don't know. I mean, definitely nervous, but kind of there was an excitement to it. There was definitely like like the normal excitement that you would have like walking onto a set, but there was also this kind of extra excitement because like I was a fan of that show. Like this is something that, I mean, I'm sure you can relate. I mean, this is something that already existed. So when I walked onto the set, I was walking into the sheriff's station that I already knew was the sheriff's station. And I looked over and go, well, that's where Lucy sits. And that's the window, of the, I mean, so it was almost like stepping into the television or something,
Yeah.
So they kind of had that. So in a way, I was probably more so sort of mesmerized that maybe that kind of took the edge off or something. Because I was looking around going, oh yeah, oh wow, there's that, oh wow, and like and the mill is out front, and like all of these, like scene sets from the show is kind of what I'm walking up to anyway. So, but as soon as I walked in there, kind of walked around the corner, and there was Kimmy Robertson, and there was Harry, and Bob Forster was there, and Kimmy like stood up and said, "Hey, are you playing Chad?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, that's so great. We were wondering. We were all just talking about who was going to play Chad, and I'm Kimmy," and they all introduced themselves, and Kimmy was like the welcoming committee, and so I mean, you can imagine like there's Lucy saying, "Welcome to the show," What's better than that, right?
That's great. Yeah.
So and everybody was continued to be incredibly supportive and welcoming, and really it really is like a. I mean, now that I've been in it for a while, since the day I stepped through that membrane, it really this family walks the walk. This Twin Peaks family from the. From Mark Frost and David Lynch, that Sabrina Sutherland, and on down the line to all the actors and all the crew and casting and then the fans and like all the fans. It's like all one thing. It's like we're all part of one thing. There's not really, it's a it's like being in a family. It really is.
And you certainly embraced it, John, having done lots of sort of like appearances connected to the show recently with the, like the pop-up restaurant in LA and so on,
Well, it's funny. It's sort of like when you're being a part of, I'm sorry, you asking me a question? I can't tell if you're talking because there's like this echo, so am I interrupting myself?
Oh, sorry, was that you to me, John? Sorry.
I don't know what I'm doing. Look, yes, I when the pop-up restaurant or when the Twin Peaks Fest happens, or like when Mark Frost, his new book, The Final Dossier, came out, and a bunch of us went over, just like fans. It was so great. I mean, like I dressed up as him. I dressed up as Cyril Pond, and Mark was there, and Sabrina was there, and Josh was there, Josh Radom, and George, because Ray was there, and Tammy, and Estelle, and all these actors were there, and she plays Lieutenant Knox, and so the point is, like, we were there sitting with all the rest of the fans, like we're fans, just like we're fans of Mark Frost, just like everybody else was Mark Frost. Some of us are dressed up, like you, Sabrina went dressed as Jackie, and people. I think Adele was Diane, like red-haired Diane.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I mean, there was no, in my mind, there was no real line of demarcation between me and the other fans. Now, at certain points, people were saying, "Oh, can you sign this or whatever?" At which point, oh, that's right, because I'm an actor and you're, but really the overall vibe is we're all fans of Mark Frost, and we're there to support him, and it was beautiful. He read from the book, and it was unbelievable. He's an incredible guy. Like he read the first, you get this book if you don't, but the first chapter is Miguel's character from the show Albert, and when he was reading, these are like FBI dossiers, and he's reading what Albert wrote, and he's kind of channeling, Miguel's Albert. Like it was just mind blowing. And then at the end, he read this, note that was Margaret, that Margaret had written to Hawk, and Hawk had then, in the world, had read it at Margaret's funeral. These are all things that are happening after what we've seen, right? So obviously, Margaret passes away, and there's a funeral that we don't ever see, but he's telling you what happened. And so he's reading this, and it was so beautiful. It was just absolutely Margaret. It was like the same voice that you heard in The Return of Margaret. You're going, wow, this is voice coming from a guy that wrote the words that we heard Margaret say.
Yeah.
So anyway, and you can hear I'm just geeking out. I'm geeking out because I'm a fan.
Yeah,
and that's kind of my, I show up to these things because I'm a fan, just like everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's great, John. It's lovely that you all embrace it that way, and you're all, as well as being in it, you're reviewers of it as well. Prior to being in it, and during it.
It's more like it embraced me.
It
more feels like it embraced me.
Yeah.
It took me in. The Twin Peaks world has been kind enough to take me into it, and I'm just incredibly grateful. I was trying to do.
Robert Forster seemed incredibly laid back in the role. Is he laid back very much as a person?
Yeah, he's so sweet. Yeah, he's just really very laid back, very calm. I had breakfast with him at the hotel a couple of times, and he just as a actor not as far down the path as he is, it's just always great to just be around somebody with that level of experience and the kind of work that he's done. He gave gifts to everybody. He gave me a letter opener, like a beautiful silver letter opener, which I cherished and put on my desk.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just he's got a sense of humor. His character's very stoic, but he's actually he's much lighter than that. He smiles and laughs a lot more than Sheriff Truman does. But I mean, a lot of the people are same thing with Mike Horse. And lots of those guys are all everybody is pretty light. There was no. Everybody was pretty lighthearted. It was just a lighthearted set. It was fun. It was a fun place to be.
And Kimmy, of course, is just a ball of energy all the time, I think, really. And very funny,
Yeah, it's funny when you say ball of energy. She's not at all hyper. That's the thing, is that there's nothing hyper about her. She's very sort of calm, and she's incredibly smart.
Oh, yeah.
That's the difference between Lucy and Kimmy, is that Kimmy's super sharp, and Lucy's, doing the best she can. But Kimmy's very, like I said, she welcomed me onto the show. She's a good one.
And of the newer cast, Jake and Jay and Nado. I don't know the actress's real name, but the girl, the lady that played Nado in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noi or something. Yeah. How did you find working with them in the cell scenes?
Well, it's funny. Before all of our whatever ongoing technical difficulties, you had asked me, I think, what was a favorite scene, and that was the first one that jumped to mind. Was that scene, doing that scene? Like all of the scenes, there's something about every scene that's incredibly powerful to me and memorable. And that one was powerful to me because, when Jay, I was not privy to any direction that, in fact, I don't even know that I was specifically directed until I was in the cell. I don't think David said anything to me before I went in there. He just said, "Go get in the cell," and then Jay was there, and then Nia was down I'm probably saying her name wrong, but she was down at the end. So when I was sitting there and he started mimicking her, like she started making noise, and then he started mimicking her, I was completely unprepared for that. I didn't have any idea that they were going to do that, and so my reaction to it is pretty organic. I mean, of course, from there, David's like chiming in and saying, "Do this now, do this now." He's very, was very, but he kind of like let that happen, and so as far as I could tell, Jay was making that up. I mean, to this day, I mean, it seems incredibly unlikely, knowing how David works and knowing how the whole thing was, that he just like did that. But as far as I was concerned in that moment, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like he just started making the noise, and I was like, "What?" Listen, my whole like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like real. But it was quite beautiful. I mean, there was to be in that space and have them be doing that. It was almost like watching music or something, or being at a music show, because it was very. They were definitely connecting with each other, and it was very magical. It was kind of as a trip to have to be annoyed by it, because in fact I wasn't annoyed by it. It's quite beautiful to me, but yeah, that was a great scene to shoot.
I thought it was just really funny when you were like, on the bed with cupping your ears, trying to block him out. In the cell,
you're like one of the few things that, like, I laid back on my bed, and then he said, cover your ears, and I covered my ears, and I think I even put the pillow over my head. I don't know if that did it or not, but I had the pillow over my head. But yeah, he was just all that. It was a great. Anyway, it was great. That was a great scene to shoot.
It was, yeah, it was great fun. And working with the guy in the. Who played? I mean, he went down as probably one of the most hated characters in the series. Eamon, who played Richard Horne, and you had a scene with him in the Roadhouse. How was it like working with Eamon?
He was great. I mean, that's the thing, is that, I mean, all of these people are, like he was the opposite of that, like the flat out opposite of Horne. I mean, he was, I mean, I don't want to give too much away in terms of the, how we made things, or, tell other people's stories. I'm kind of, I'm definitely protective of our thing, and I don't want to speak about things that are not in my business, but I will tell you that he was very, communicative and caring of that actress, that he had to, be so horrible to. And it was quite, it was disturbing to watch it, but he was definitely, as an actor, checking in with her, afterwards and before and afterwards, and making sure she was okay, and, just very obviously an incredibly empathetic person. He understood very clearly, that it could be rough, and he was great. It's funny, he's I saw his name on the call sheet, but what I saw at first, his name was right below mine, and my kid's name is Eamon, and I saw Eamon Pirruccello is my kid, so I saw John Pirruccello and Eamon Farron, but I read Eamon Pirruccello, and I was like, my son's in this. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But no, he was lovely. He was a lovely guy.
Yeah. So, John, how does it feel being part of this, Twin Peaks world now? That you're actually in it, and you followed it right, from the original series. How does it feel to be part of it now? Now, as you look back,
Well, it's just sort of unprecedented, and it's ongoing. It's sort of like I'm still, a lot of times it ends, right? I mean, that's part of what's sort of melancholy about the whole process, is that you have these it's a really close, intimate, intense sort of thing to make to make movies and television. You get, especially if you're there for a while, you have great conversations with the crew and, a PA and the hair person and the, prop guy. Like all these people become, really a part of your world, and then it like ends, and you fly back to LA or whatever, and that's sort of like, it like feels like a dream. Like, did that just happen? And in this case, the dream just keeps going, it just keeps on going, because the next thing you know, I'm at the pop-up or I'm at the Festival of Disruption, and then Bill Hader shows up at the Festival of Disruption, and he's the star and creator of the next show that I'm doing, and so those worlds like collide all of a sudden, and so it's kind of like a dream that isn't ending.
And I don't think it's going to end it anytime soon either, John. I think it's only just starting, really.
Not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I love it. I mean, it's really, it's real. I mean, it's very real. I mean, Sabrina texts me and emails me, and we all keep each other in the loop, and we stay in communication. And I was just texting with Dana, a couple of days ago, and I mean, it's for real. Like everybody, at the shooting, and David, well, you're in the, and I'm blown. I was moved to tears, frankly, when he said it, but he really meant it. I mean, I had no idea how much he meant it at the time, but I'm beginning to understand. I mean, I do transcendental meditation now. It's changed my life, and just no idea how much in the family I was going to become at that moment. I mean, it was incredibly flattering and profound for him to say that, but I had no idea.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, John. And it really is. It really does feel like that, from the actors to the fans of the series, right through. Really, that there's that family feeling, right through, that we all connect together, and I think that's really lovely,
I agree. I mean, to me, it's we were at Mark's book signing, and a woman, this woman Jack, had like made she made this. I'm gonna grab it right now. She made like a Find Hastings. It's like beloved creator of the Search for the Zone website. He's gone missing. Have you seen this man, William Bill Hastings? It's so great, and there's like emails and stuff on that, and I just thought that was so funny. And so she came there and was handing these out, and I asked her to sign mine, and she was like, first she asked me to sign her book, her Mark Frost book, and I did, and then I asked her to sign this thing, and she said, "Really? That's kind of weird." And I said, "Well, is it any weirder than me signing Mark Frost's book? I mean, what? Weird, I mean, like, how is that any weirder?" But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that to me, that line of demarcation between cast and crew and fans and whatever, it's much more blended than I've experienced so far thus far before this.
Yeah.
Edited.
I agree completely. Yeah, and long may that continue, John.
Okay.
Well, John,
back at you.
I've ran out of questions. Not that I had any originally. Anyway, I just made them up. But yeah. But I've ran out of made-up questions now. So,
Frank?
What's that, John?
I think you've done lovely. I think maybe you need to start questioning. Perhaps you'll start questioning. Really, it's diminishing returns, like preparing.
So you think I should do all my interviews and not prepare anything? Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go that far. I'm not saying, right? You're calling me from under a bridge somewhere because you're homeless and. Remember when you said prepare? But no, I maybe some combination of whatever. To me, it's always. I mean, all of our chats that we've had, I thought were always very interesting, and So there's preparation has its place, as does spontaneity, I guess.
Yeah, and all the errors that we've had throughout this recording as well. Yeah, we had to stop about 3 or 4 times, but that's not bad, I suppose. Yeah.
Grateful. I'm grateful. And you've got my. You know how to get a hold of me.
Oh yeah.
Anytime, if you're doing anything, or if there's something going on in the UK that you think I might, want to know about, and I'll do the same for you. Just keep in touch is what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. Of course I will, John. Yeah, I know how to reach you, so that's cool. Yeah. Well, anyway, John, for the purposes of the listeners, at least, I want to thank you for joining me in this crazy interview that we've done.
Well, it's been a privilege. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's a bit unconventional, but that's good compared to some of the other ones. But I hope you get a kick out of it, and fingers crossed, down the line I get to interview a few more actors from the series as well, from the recent series, I mean, as well as some of the older actors as well, from the original and the return, if all goes well. So keep your ears cocked, as they say, and we'll be back very soon with more live from the Roadhouse. Until then, take care.